Hi, I'm Danielle. Welcome to my perfume journal. And in this video, I'm going to share how I have currently organized my perfume collection. So when I was a kid, I loved to organize and reorganize things. My books, my record albums, my Barbie clothing, you name it, I would spend hours and hours reorganizing it. I have carried this little habit into my adult life. And so every once in a while, I get an urge to reorganize my perfume cabinet. So on this tray is one perfume from each of the categories according to which I have currently organized my collection. So I'll tell you a little bit about each one of these perfumes, and then I will show you that section of my perfume cabinet. First on the tray is Rouge from Givenchy. So this perfume is currently located in the big Florals section of my perfume cabinet. This perfume is an enormous tuberose and patchouli scent. It is very spicy, very heady, very dramatic, and very much a 1 to 2 spray maximum perfume. It is phenomenal in very cold weather. And this is the absolute opposite of a quiet scent. And this is the big Florals section of my perfume cabinet. A few others that I have in this section are Nightingale from Zoologist, which is a gorgeous vintage style but modern chic with plum blossom as the central floral note. And I also in this section have my very treasured bottle of YSL's Discontinued L, which is a beautiful rose patchouli, but it has like a touch of lychee in it, and it's the closest thing that I have found to Midnight Poison, except in Midnight Poison you would replace the lychee with mandarin orange. And I actually just saw Gabby from the Fragrantician say that there's a little rumor floating around that Midnight Poison might be coming back, and if that happened, I would be the happiest little perfume enthusiast in the world. And here we have Narciso Poudree, which could fit into one of two sections of my perfume cabinet. But for now, I have Poudree sitting among my powdery florals. And at the moment, powdery florals are what I seem to be reaching for the most. So Poudree is like a very powdery version of the classic Narciso musk cubes. This one smells exactly like the blush color of the bottle and the cap. It's jasmine and rose with that signature Narciso musk, and it has just a slight woodiness in the base. It's very soft, it's very comfortable, and it's something that can really be worn all year round. And this is the powdery floral section of my collection. Some of my favorite perfumes in this section are Blanc from Courage, which is like a classic powdery floral. It's got rose, heliotrope, iris, violet, and it has just a little tiny bit of fruitiness at the top and woodiness in the base to keep it from going like straight talcum powder. And of course, this is where I keep my all-time favorite powdery floral, Violet Ida, my lipstick on a bunny perfume, the perfect balance of fluffy florals, waxy orris, and that earthy, nutty carrot seed. So this is the hair mist of Luna from Penhaligons. This was a gift from my sister-in-law. Luna is from the section of my cabinet that holds all of my fresh perfumes. So Luna is a very citrusy floral. It's got a little tiny bit of a bite from some juniper berry. I think this is really excellent as a hair mist because it's very clean and it's very bright smelling. And these are all of the fresh perfumes in my collection. So for a long time, I was like a freshy kind of gal. I wore Jo Malone's Blackberry and Bay almost exclusively for years. And in this section, I have a lot of other Jo Malone freshies. I have some really nice citruses like Clementine California from Atelier Cologne, and then some greener perfumes like Gloam from Aesop and Wander Through the Parks from Miller Harris. So this perfume is called A Way to Say Goodbye, and it's by Filigree and Shadow. And this perfume sits on a little pedestal that showcases some of my favorite independent artisan perfumes. So James Elliott, the perfumer, tragically lost his mother to COVID and was not able to see her when she passed. And so he created this perfume in her honor and literally as a way to say goodbye. And this perfume rips my heart out every time I smell it. It is a floral chic. It has some notes that represent James's mom. and it reminds me of some of the best women in my own life. I will leave a link below to this perfume on the Filigree and Shadow website because reading about this perfume in James's own words is a far better way to learn about it than I could ever convey. And so on this pedestal in my perfume cabinet, I have placed the 4 perfumes from Fath, one of my favorite Artisan brands, the perfume Gavatella from Witten West, which is a botanical, citrusy, orange blossom and vetiver perfume. It's very, very natural smelling. It is not at all a perfumey perfume. And the beautiful Mother Nature's Naughty Daughters from 4160 Tuesdays, which is a jammy rose with really interesting hay-like, malty, and nutty qualities to it. So this is the perfume oil Bon Chocolat from Lorelei Parfums. Joie, the perfumer, sent this to me as a gift with a purchase that I made, and it is part of the Gourmands section of my collection. Bon Chocolat is perfectly named. It just smells exactly like a very good chocolate. It is straightforward, it is absolutely delicious, and it is one of my favorite bedtime scents. And I don't have a lot of Gourmands in my collection, but the ones that I do have, I absolutely love. And my very favorite Gourmands in the world come from the brand Perfume Roma. And I always say that I think Italian perfume houses make the very best Gourmands. And Perfume Romas are just excellent. I mostly have travel sizes from this brand, except for one perfume, and that's Confetto, which I have a full bottle of. It's a gorgeous almondy anise perfume. It reminds me a lot of the pastel candied almonds that my grandmother would bring home for me from family weddings when I was like too young to attend them. Lizzie from Rose & Jones just talked about this perfume in her most recent video about addictive fragrances, and I would agree that this perfume is extremely addictive. Once you spray it, you will not want to stop smelling it. Next is the wonderful, wonderful Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker, one of my favorite perfumes in the woody section of my collection, and one of my favorite perfumes of all time. Stash is so unique. There is nothing else like it. It is a woody, resinous, spicy wonder of a fragrance, and it has some really interesting aromatics swirling all around it. Some of my other favorite perfumes in the woody section of my cabinet are Lumiere Blanche from Olfactive Studio. This is a woody perfume with some cardamom and almond milk, and all of my favorite incense perfumes are here, especially Adorum from Nez, which combines like a churchy, cathedral-like incense with dark baking cocoa. It is absolutely wonderful. It's a super unique incense perfume, and I especially love to wear this one in the wintertime. So this perfume is L'Oreille de Bois from Jacques Fath, and this one is currently sitting in the section of my perfume cabinet that I call Weird and Wonderful Perfumes. All of the perfumes in this section are just a little bit off the beaten path. They could definitely fit into like other sections of my perfume collection, but instead I decided I would organize them together in like a little club of their own. And L'Oreille de Bois is an unusually spicy floral. It's a little bit pillowy and fluffy from the florals, like it has mimosa in it and heliotrope. It's also a little bit bright and sparkly from the citrus notes, and a little bit spicy from the cinnamon in the base, and it's even a little bit sour. I don't know, there's something about the combination of maybe like the neroli and the sandalwood that gives it a bit of sourness, and that's what puts it into the weird and wonderful category to me. It's one of the most unusual perfumes in my entire wardrobe, and I absolutely love it. My other weirdos include things like Aura from Giacomo, which is a really unusual perfume. If you just looked at the notes of this perfume, you might think this was going to be like a powdery floral with some woodiness in the base, but instead, I think this is like a really interesting sour floral with a lot of green to it. It's definitely one of the most unique perfumes I have. It almost smells like neon in a way. I also have in this section Cocoa Beans from Monotheme, which smells nothing like cocoa or beans or cocoa beans. It definitely has like a little bit of that slight gourmand quality to it, but overall this is more green than straight gourmand. It's very interesting. It's a very surprising kind of a scent. And I also have This Is Her by Zadig and Voltaire in this section, which to me smells like chestnuts and sour milk, but in a good way. So next we have Secret Gardenia from Miller Harris. This is just a beautiful, straightforward gardenia perfume. This smells to me like you stepped into an arboretum that has like humidity in the air, and so the air sort of feels like a little bit wet and dewy, and the scent of fresh gardenias with the humidity is just permeating everything inside the arboretum. It's really beautiful. It's wonderful for spring and summer, very fresh, very watery, beautiful gardenia scent. And this perfume sits inside the cabinet on this pretty tray that my sister-in-law brought back to me as a souvenir from one of her travels. And I found all of the bottles in my collection that looked sort of creamy and golden, and I just wanted to kind of put them together on this tray so that they were right in the center of the cabinet. And every time I look in the cabinet, I think, wow, that's pretty. So this perfume sits among some of my prettiest bottles and a beautiful tray that was given to me by my sister-in-law. So this is Elixir Essence Parfum from Roja Parfums. This one I placed in the Musky Florals section of my perfume cabinet. This is where Narciso Poudree could also go, but I just left it with my powdery florals because I seem to reach for those the most. Elixir Essence is a lovely raspberry rose with a very synthetic smelling musk base. And this is going to sound really weird, but I love how synthetic the musks smell in this base. They're almost plasticky. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is about the syntheticness of that musk that I just adore, but I do. And also in this section of musky florals is one of the newest additions to my collection, Peau de Soie from Philippe Starck, which is supposed to be kind of like a musky floral skin scent, but I think it has some really interesting translucent aromatic qualities that set it apart from like just your average skin scent perfume. I have a couple other Sarah Jessica Parker flankers in here, things like Stash Unspoken, Lovely You, Lovely Lights. They're just really nice, easy to reach for, musky florals that are great for every day. So this is Pourpre d'Automne from Maison Violet, which is kept in the section that holds all of my travel sprays. So I discovered this perfume from John at Scented Snowdrops, and this is just a gorgeous purple floral with some nice musks, a little bit of warm benzoin in the base, and it feels like a soft purple cashmere sweater or blanket when you wear it. So I keep all of my travel sprays in a lipstick holder instead of putting these perfumes in the sections that I've been showing you, because honestly, the travel sprays, they just fall over. So I have some really nice Artisan perfumes in this case, things like Hip Hop from Zernelle Gilly, which is one of the few perfumes that I love from a category I don't normally enjoy. It's like a boozy, fruity, chocolatey kind of scent profile with a bunch of saffron in it. And I really like the way Zernelle Gilly composes his scents. Hip Hop is a great example of how I have learned over time not to write off a perfume based on the notes or based on like it's in a scent profile that I think I won't like, because you never know which one is going to change your mind. So finally, we have Safari from Ralph Lauren, which I keep in a drawer with the rest of my very special vintage perfumes. And even though I keep the room where my perfume cabinet is very cool and very dark at all times, I tuck the vintages even further away for some extra protection from light and heat. Safari is like just such an excellent perfume. It's grassy and dry. It feels like sun over the Serengeti. The color of it feels like pure khaki, and it's just so unique. It's so special. I can't imagine this perfume being like super popular if it were released today, but to me, this is like a totally iconic perfume, and it deserves its place in my drawer of treasures. I won't show you inside the drawer because all of the perfume bottles are either in boxes or they're wrapped in bubble wrap, which isn't very interesting to look at, but over time, I'm sure each one will make an appearance on my tray and in my perfume wearing rotation. So instead of showing you inside the drawer, we'll just take a step back. This is my entire perfume cabinet. This is my perfume collection. It's kind of a Goldilocks size for me right now. At one time, it was much bigger, but I've really scaled it back to include the perfumes I really want to be wearing on a regular basis. I generally tend to wear like 2 different perfumes a day, sometimes 3. I also keep things moving in and out of my collection as my tastes change, except for all of my tried and trues, which will always be with me because I always want my perfume collection to be like a mirror rather than a window. Like, I'm not super interested in what's outside, what's out there, as much as I'm interested in like what's going on in my own mind and in my own heart at the moment, and how to mirror what's happening in my life with my choice of scent. So there we have it, a brief look at my perfume collection and how I have it organized at the moment. This was kind of fun to like take the camera off the desk and into the cabinet. I hope you enjoyed having a peek into my perfume collection. Thank you so much for watching, for spending your time here with me, and for chatting perfumes with me in the comments. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.